Welcome to Your Brand Amplified, the podcast where we interview marketers, publicists, and brands to learn their stories, what makes them tick, and tips and tricks that make a difference. Today, I have a woman who is no stranger to SEO. In fact, it's been her career, and I'm really excited to learn all the ins and outs from the beginning of SEO to today. Stephanie Marie Marketing, Stephanie Long, thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. I love talking about SEO.
Yay. I know we've been trying to make this happen for quite a while.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is actually perfect because I haven't had anyone talk about SEO for a while. And I know things are always changing and being updated. So first, let's talk about how did you get into SEO as a career?
Yeah, it's such a random start. I got my undergrad at the University of Washington and I major was in communications. So I got an internship in the communication department and my manager there knew, like, now that I'm thinking about it, she said she knew SEO and I actually don't know if I did any SEO, to be honest. So I put SEO on my resume and then I got a job right out of college right away at a big agency doing SEO. And I don't think I actually did SEO in my internship, even though she called it SEO. So then I went to this agency, which was wonderful. It was huge. We did SEO for all the GM dealerships in the United States. We had a contract with them and they put everyone new to SEO through a rigorous 3-week program where all we did was learn about SEO. And then we started working on our accounts. But that's how I got started. And then I decided I wanted to expand into marketing, more into marketing. So then I got a job as a sole contributor and brought SEO to that role and just kept bringing SEO to every role. And then I got laid off at the beginning of the pandemic and decided I was in advertising, actually, so random. I was in advertising, but I always used SEO to write all the ads, right? SEO is part of everything you touch. People don't realize it, but it really is. So I just decided I'm going to start my own business. And that's where I've been at, just solely focusing on SEO. Because I've been a marketing generalist, right, where you do everything in marketing. But I don't feel like you can be really good at any one thing if you don't focus on one specific thing in marketing. Totally my opinion, but that's just how I feel, right? I don't know anything about email marketing anymore nowadays, right? I don't know. I do my own social media, but I'm not a social media expert. So I just solely focus on SEO and it's always changing. So you need somebody that's just on that because it really is a full-time job.
Yeah, I think that is really interesting because I've done a lot of PR. I've done a lot in marketing, experiential marketing, different things throughout different parts of my career. And so I would consider myself a generalist, which it's good to know a little bit about a few different things. But then it also makes it really hard because I know, for instance, I'm better at branding and really PR. And so I find myself wanting to okay, but I can't do this other stuff that you want me to do. I really need to focus on PR because I know how much time it takes and I need to do this and this and this. So I applaud you for leaning into SEO. And it is so important. And now, we have SEO, SEA, SEM. Can you talk about the distinctions between those three? And, how does SEO fit into it? Is it the umbrella for anybody who's listening who might be newer to SEO and might not know?
So I'm very SEM, SEA, SEO, they're all their own thing. They're totally separate. I wouldn't put any of them together. I don't do search engine marketing. That is more advertising based, right? That's Google ads, running other ad campaigns on AdRoll or something. I've done that. That's not something I do anymore. I don't want, that's its whole other beast. I do not keep up with that because I think that's its own job. I think they all need to be their own specific roles because they all run on different functions. You need to know what's trending right in Google for all of them, but I just want to specifically focus on SEO. So anything that's advertising based, like search engine advertising, search engine marketing, I think they all need to be separate. So I think you need a specialty for each of them, but I think they all need to work cohesively together. I don't think you can have any one. If you have all of them, they all need to work together. They should not each work in their own silo because what I do for keywords, they should do for keywords and vice versa. So they should be doing their own keyword research for paid stuff and then I for organic, and we should be combining. We should not be working separately.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's important because in today's world, everything really has to be integrated. You still have different people working on each thing. That's their specialty, right? But if you don't understand what other people are doing and their messaging or with their keywords, and you're doing something completely different, then you're not going to necessarily serve the client the best and get the best results.
Here's an example too. I talked to a client this morning. They have an influencer platform, and they actually had one of their influencers on the call today. And she wants to start writing content around the keywords that are ranking for them that I was showing her. So she's going to take the keywords I'm using and put that into her content, whether that, again, I'm not a social media expert, but I always say, at least put your keyword in your little description somewhere or even in a hashtag. So she's going to use that, which I think is great. So that's another way to be incorporating it. And then, it's a backlink, right? Linking to your website. So I think that's a great way to do it as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So what have you seen change in the world of SEO since you started your career?
Well, when I first started, keyword stuffing was a huge thing. So keyword stuffing means I'll use the GM dealership. So let's say GMC wanted to rank for Buick. So you would put GMC Buick all in the back end where no one could see. So it'd be in like the source code. But Google, that's the source code is your SEO. Like that's where the SEO lives. That's how I can see everyone's SEO. So Google can scan that. And so back in the day when I first started, that was what we did. We would just jam GMC Buick like 20 times in backend code for SEO because you wanted to rank for that. Now that's black hat SEO. You do not do that. You pick one keyword for each page. Right? So it's very important. Even one of my clients that I'm going through their website, they have a couple keywords per page. But you got to think about it. Google won't know what keyword to rank for. So if you have even 3, how does it know which one you want to rank for? So you pick one targeted one and optimize that page for that keyword. And then never have the same keyword for each page. I'll use GMC Buick again. Let's say you just use that once on one page, but you use it again on another page. Google won't know which page you want. So you're competing with yourself, which could actually be detrimental to you because it won't know which one to serve up.
Wow.
So it's competing it.
I think SEO still has some like a little bit mystical. And
totally.
People don't really know that. So I think what you just said is so important for people to understand that you are competing against yourself if you're using the same keyword on each page.
Yep. And copy too, right? Google is so smart. Make sure your copy, maybe the services are pretty comparable. You got to write different copy for each as well, because you do not want to get demoted, I have quotes, in Google for duplicate copy. And if it's too similar, that's a problem. So make sure it's all unique. And that's why I'm going to just mention AI tools, because this is obviously brand new to SEO, was not there. So I love AI tools. Don't get me wrong. I'm a writer. So I get writer's block and I use them for ideas. Like I think it's great for sourcing ideas, but you got to remember they aggregate all over the internet. So what you see is bits and pieces of somebody else's copy when you want to write a blog. Here's my take on it. Google hasn't caught up with this yet. And I believe that if you just fully take a blog post that you wrote with an AI tool, I think that Google eventually will realize this and will start docking you. So from my standpoint, I write blogs for clients too. And my advice to them, if they write blogs, do it original, all original, because I think that they will knock those blogs that they know are being sourced through AI tools, and you won't have to be in a frenzy because your rankings are tanking because Google has realized that this is not actually original content.
Interesting, yeah.
So I like to keep it original and nothing used for AI except for ideas. I think it's for ideas. Maybe you need like a subject line for an email. I'll use that. Find an idea, but don't use it for and also for SEO. People want to use it for your SEO. You need to put your keyword 2 to 3 times in each page or each post. That tool does not know how to do that.
Okay.
You need to have at least your main keyword in your first paragraph, if nothing else. It doesn't know how to do that. It doesn't know to do what a human can do. So always think about that. If you're thinking, oh, this is a cheaper way, this is easier. It's just a tool.
Right.
So in the end of the day, it doesn't know.
You ever take articles and put them through AI just to see if it changes the phrasing, or you're like, oh, that phrasing is slightly better than what I'd written before, or to find tune after you write? No?
I don't. Yeah. Again, I love AI tools, but I don't like to touch that, honestly. I'll look for other keyword variations, like what is another word for this or something, but no, I don't. I'm very...
Yeah. But
know.
SEO and AI are two really big topics right now because everybody wants to make sure that they continue ranking or they want to get from page 2 or 3 to page 1, organically. And then they also want to use AI tools. And like you said, maybe cut some corners or cut some costs. But to your point, you have to be really careful about that.
Yeah.
You've already given so many helpful hints and tips. So thank you.
Yeah. Like I love Jasper as an AI tool. I like it for ideas, but just be careful. Like anything that you may think you're cutting corners with, you probably are. And you might not see any repercussions now, but Google is just really smart and will catch up. So you just got to be on top of that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. What other tips do you want to give us? So
yeah,
like how SEO's changed. Before you wanted to put the keywords everywhere. Now you can't do that. What are some other big changes?
Another one is optimizing for image tags. So it's called alt text or SEO. So that again, people used to keyword stuff. Don't do that. Whatever the main keyword is, use that keyword. But now taking it a step further, when you upload an image, it's named like a random file.
Mm-hmm.
Now name it your keyword. So let's say I'll use SEO expert in Seattle. So it'd be SEO-expert-in-Seattle. So you have to put dashes between so Google knows what the keyword is. Take it a step further and name your file as your keyword. I have a lot of clients that can be searched by their images because they have beautiful products. So I want them to be ranked in Google Images. So that's another step I take because not just in the search engine results page, I like to get them in Google Images as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love, like, sometimes I'll be looking for quotes, but then I'm like, I also need a great image. So let me take this quote that I like and see if anybody's created images for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there you go. You can read for that. That's what I love to do as well. It's depends on what platform you have. Shopify, it's a cheap plugin you can do. When you upload something, it will automatically rename it the keyword that you have as the main one. But WordPress, that's a huge one that a lot of my clients use. I do have to go and rename them. Or now I'm trying to get them educated so that when they upload something, they ask me what is the keyword for that page so I can give them that.
Yeah. And I'm having an aha moment because I didn't realize that because I don't do SEO, but I'm sure a lot of people listening also wouldn't realize that you need to optimize your images as well. What about video? Because I know I've spoken to some people who are SEO experts and now one person in particular says, oh, I'm just doing video SEO now. I'm not doing written blogs or any of the other stuff.
I mean, video is amazing. My suggestion always is if you write a blog post, if you can cut that up into put it on YouTube, put it on TikTok, put it on Instagram, put it on Facebook. Maybe you have different clients on every different medium, right? Like every different platform. So cut it up, break it up, do whatever that audience is trending towards. Mm-hmm. So Facebook might not like blog posts, but take that blog, like maybe it's a how-to, maybe you do a fun little like how-to video, right? So you can put it against all these different mediums and then hopefully rank for that keyword, right? So you would put that keyword in all those different, so YouTube is its own engine. I help clients optimize their YouTube platform. So that's, yes, for sure, 100%. So I think they should break it up and use that for sure. Yeah. I think YouTube's great.
Now, going from corporate and going from big agencies and working on these major accounts to going out on your own, what was that experience like? I know obviously you got laid off and you were decided to go on your own. Have you encountered challenges? Have you found it really freeing?
I was already planning on going. Setting myself up. I mean, here's the biggest one. When you work for someone else, you're paid every 2 weeks, every month, what have you, right? Like, when your paycheck's coming in. I don't always know that, right? Like you have to chase down money sometimes. And that's like a huge thing of working for yourself, right? Like that's a scary thing. So that's why I prepared myself to savings and stuff because I knew this would happen. I do a lot of admin stuff myself, that I didn't realize. I did not know QuickBooks. QuickBooks is I didn't know what to do and I had to learn myself QuickBooks. But I will tell you the one thing that working myself is the most amazing thing is you don't have to report to a boss. You report to your clients, but you don't have to report to a boss. And after being laid off, I am so glad I don't have to get up in the morning and worry I'm getting that email, right? Please talk to HR when you get up, right? So I love the freedom. Nothing can replace that. So, but it's scary. It is scary. I would be lying if I didn't state that, but it's super rewarding too. And I think the rewards outweigh anything that's scary.
Yeah. I know. I agree with that. The flexibility, just knowing that if something comes up in your personal life, you can take care of it and you don't have to put it off until you're off of work hours or you're done with this project. I mean, obviously you have to do the projects for your clients, but yeah.
Yeah. And you don't have PTO, right? Like,
Right.
I don't have PTO like I had. I mean, there's things that, give and take, right?
Are you ready to take your brand to new heights? Join the Brand Amplifier for Entrepreneurs program. Learn how to build, elevate, and amplify your brand with a comprehensive 10-module course. Learn more about it and other ways to implement our strategies at fullcapacitymarketing.com. Click on EFCM Learning Hub for more information. Can't wait to help you amplify your brand. Now, is there a specific type of client that you like to work with now?
So I'm in the Seattle area, and I used to mainly work with tech clients just because of the area and what I've done in tech. But I'm a part of a lot of women's groups. So now I get really clients all over the spectrum.
Nice.
So I have to tell you, they're all over. I can't even tell you. Like a lot of e-com now. I'd say e-com, tech, those are my two biggest ones. And then within e-com, there's so many different industries.
Yeah.
It's been wild.
What's a project that you found most fulfilling since you've been out on your own under Stephanie Marie Marketing?
I would say one of my clients is a digital dental company, and they create tools for your smile. Like they're essentially Invisalign by 10,000 times better.
Wow.
Very expensive, very hard to market, very niche. I've had them from day one of my business, and I will tell you, I need to preface SEO is a long game. I mean, maybe you have a product that's like quick wins, right? Maybe you rank in a couple weeks. I never recommend that. Like, that's not something I advertise. Like, I like to give it a couple months. This has been a very long game, and I can finally say after this long, I mean, they're really starting to see. I think their sales cycle is like a year, right? So they're finally really starting to see what SEO has done. I mean, they started with 3 pages, like nothing. And now I just like see how much they're flourishing. And it's been such a hard product to market. So they're like one of my favorites.
That is a commonality between public relations and SEO. I think so many times there are people who come and think it's going to be a really quick fix and you're going to get them on Google page 1, you're going to get a big press hit right away. But that is more rare than reality. I mean, I always tell clients 3 to 6 months to really, gauge, especially if you're a startup who's completely unknown. Nobody knows about your product. Nobody knows about who you are. We have to establish those stories first before we can go after the big leagues. And I think that's something too I've seen with people with SEO is sometimes I think people think, oh yeah, I'm just going to put in a few keywords and magically I'm going to be Google page 1. And that's not the way it works.
Right. And initially what keywords, so for that perspective, we didn't know what people were searching for. So I had to use my tools and give the best guesstimate. But as the months go on, you refine your strategy. Okay, that's not working. We got to switch. It's like the stock market, I feel like SEO, like you're always switching. Back and forth. I mean, SEO is like, it's a long game, but a fast game at the same time for me as the person doing the implementation.
Right. Yeah, you're always going to switch it up.
Always. So, I mean, from month to month, it could look different. But in the end, it is a long game. Then, like for this company, now they have tons of pages because of their blogs. So now we can do a great internal linking strategy, right? Keeping people on the website because we're linking to clickable posts or pages. They're adding more offers. So it's like becomes this really great big engine.
But they had to understand that they needed to invest the time to get this right.
They had to. And I think that's also a misconception. People think that the SEO person is your sales associate. That is not at all. You're not going to. I had one client that called me a day after I started and said, my phone's not ringing. It was they sold this like massive service. So like very expensive, right? That's not going to happen. And I was like, that's a separate job. It's a very long game. SEO is not your sales associate. They're as your tool to get you in front of people's eyes, right? And also from my perspective, maybe because I ran $1 million budgets at the agency, unless you have massive budgets, you are going to struggle to compete if run ads. So I always recommend starting with organic versus doing ads. Like just my opinion on what I saw at the age.
Is there a typical package people do, or is it customized depending on where they are in their life cycle of business and how fast they can scale their budgets and things like that?
Are you talking about for ads?
For SEO, like if somebody was coming to you, for instance, if somebody only had a $500 budget, could they even work with you versus?
Yeah, I will work with anyone. I will work with whatever your budget is. Like everyone pretty much needs the same service because when they come in, they need an audit. I have to do that for everyone because I don't know where anyone's at. So I need to see what's going on. And then from there, after the audit, we can talk through what I think. Because when I do the audit, I always like to get 10 to 15 keywords you'd like to rank for. And usually what you think you want to rank for or what you hope customers are searching is not generally what's happening. So I talk about that a lot. It's not actually a keyword. So
talk more about that, please. I'd love to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically, they have a concept of their brand and what words people are going to be searching for, but then what people are actually searching for is completely different.
Yeah, wow. Absolutely. So another thing with an SEO expert, there's Google Keyword Planner, right? That's free, but it's like you get what you pay for, right? I and other SEO experts hopefully have these tools, right, that pull in and aggregate what other people are searching for and also what your competitors are searching for and ranking for. So I can use all of that to give you what I think you need to optimize for. So that's the education piece. Like, for instance, one of my clients, when I do Google Analytics too, right, analysis. She was a graphic designer, beautiful artwork. Her whole entire above the fold. So that means if you have to scroll, that's below the fold. So anything that you don't have to scroll for, she had a beautiful image on there. That was it. Nobody was ever going past that image. And so my analogy of that was I had to show her in the Google Analytics, you're wasting this homepage real estate with no keywords, no nothing, no call to action. I understand your image is beautiful and you want everyone to see it, but in reality, no one's seeing it because they're leaving because they have nothing to do. So that's what you have to think about, like what you think. At the end of the day, I'll give you my audit. And if you are strongly like want these keywords, like, you know, that's what you want, but the data shows this.
Yeah.
So that's an educational piece for sure.
Yeah, definitely. How else SEO changed? We have the AI tools that people are trying to use. There's free tools, but I feel like many people still miss the mark.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of, like I'm mentioning, like, I know what's best. They would do this. Why are they not doing this? Instead of trying to just yank people one way. And you also need to not be in their face, right? So you need to find what are their pain points because that's part of SEO too. So a thing I love to use is the people also ask search feature. When you Google a keyword, you can see that. That wasn't there when I started SEO. You're literally getting exactly what people are asking. That is like a pain point. So you should write around that. And that should be a keyword. Whatever keyword you Googled and whatever people are like writing about, you should totally do that. And that was a great feature that was not there when I first started. Another one is Answer the Public. That's a great tool. You get 2 free searches a day, but the person that bought it, it was tied to Google. And the person that bought it, I use one of his other tools. So it's like directly what is tied into Google. So I guess the thing is, there's no reason to be questioning or not using some tool, even if you have no budget. Like there's a tool for you to use. Even Google itself, like I mentioned, people also. So I think that you need to see what people are wanting for your product, not what you're thinking they're wanting. So I think that's a big misconception, to bring people to it your way. You're just not going to see any traffic. That's for sure. And then setting up Google Search Console. That's also a big thing. You need Google Search Console on your website because Google needs to know you're a website. Like, how does Google know you're there? So setting up Google Search Console is very big too. Make sure that's set up as well.
And if somebody doesn't know how to set that up, but they want to work with you for SEO, are those things that you also, when you do the audit, you can make recommendations like, okay, here's how you do this, here's how you do this.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of these are simple steps. Yeah, for sure. And I let them know how that is. And you need to look at, mobile first now, right? I mean, it was not mobile first when I first started, but I always like to reiterate mobile first. You need to also, with Google Search Console, you can see what pages are slow. There's Google Page Speed you can use too to see how fast your pages are loading. If you're image heavy, which a lot of my clients are, you'll want to run your website through that to see if the images are loading too slow, because that's affecting your SEO too. So there's just so many different tools you have at your disposal, free, paid, but it's constantly moving. So
it definitely sounds like a full-time job, and you have to have somebody dedicated to that.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's for sure.
Do you also have any courses or run any masterminds for people who are, maybe they're early in their process? They're like, well, I'm not ready to hire somebody for SEO, but I want to like at least learn a little bit more about it.
Yeah, so I have one on Skillshare, an SEO 101 course. Skillshare is a platform. It's like $150 a year, but you have access to so many other things. My course is on there. However, I'm taking that course and really like break it up and put that on my website for download. So I'm in the process of doing that.
Okay. So people should go to your website, stephaniemariemarketing.com, to learn all about you, get all the resources and all of that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Working on that.
What else should people know about the wild world of SEO?
Oh, there's so much. What I really like to do is if you've heard of the featured snippet. So when you Google something, not every keyword has it, but it's a little paragraph at the top. So it's answering your question right at that paragraph. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the featured snippet. Yeah, you can Google featured snippet, but what I always like to do is get my clients in that featured snippet, because Google has known you've served up enough good information. So there it is. It's right there. Like the paragraph somebody is asking about is being pulled from your site.
Wow.
And you are that little paragraph text there. And how do you get there? Just like I mentioned, Google, it's like Google's secret sauce. It just is very vague, but it's saying you have done enough things that it knows you're giving good advice, whatever have you. So yeah. That's a black hole unto itself. I don't that info on that for sure.
Awesome. So what is next for you? Are you going to stay down the path, solopreneur? Are you hiring people? What are you looking to do next?
I have a SEO 101 course at the University of Washington in fall that I'm teaching. So I would love to just start teaching more. As you've heard, it's a lot of implementation with clients. It's a lot of work. And so I'd love to be more of the thought leader, help you, train you. So I'd like to move into more training. I mean, then you can take it, or your marketing team can take what I've helped and implement it. And then you don't have to hire, like you can hire me for the consultation, but then you don't have to hire like someone outside to do it. You can maybe assign somebody in marketing or what have you to do the implementation.
Very cool. Well, I also teach, so I'm excited that you're doing that. And I have a huge heart for also sharing information and teaching the next generation. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited about that.
And what is the easiest way for people to find you?
So the easiest way to contact me is at Stephanie Marie Marketing. Just send me an email. That's the easiest way. Or you can go to my website and you can also schedule. I do free consultations there on the consultation tab.
Awesome. And do you have a favorite quote or mantra or some words of wisdom that you'd like to impart on us?
I am a huge Michael Jordan fan. I grew up watching Michael Jordan, and he says, I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and I've missed. I failed over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed.
Oh, I love that. Fantastic. That is a great way to end the show. And Stephanie, thank you so much. I'm so glad that we were able to get you on. And it's interesting because I've had different SEO experts on over the course of the 3 years of the show, but I've learned some new things today that nobody else has talked about. So I appreciate that. And I'm really excited for everybody to hear this episode and learn all of your SEO knowledge and things that they should be thinking about and things they should be using or not using, hint, hint, AI, certain aspects of their SEO work. And yeah. And I will be back again in a few days with another amazing expert for your listening ears. Thanks for joining us today. Want more? Check out amplifywithannika.com or follow me on socials at amplifywithannika.